Here are some Luke Davidson facts. So let's start here. This is 2 times Google Maps saved lives. How?
Joker was on his way to work when an ex-employee named John Charles kidnapped him. He said their boss owed him money, so he wanted to use Sander to set up a meeting with him. When John left the room, Sander used Google Maps to send his location to his boss. When his boss got his location, he called the police and drove there immediately. John was then arrested and sentenced to 8 years in prison. When Saru was 5 years old, he got on a runaway train in India, which separated him from his family. He had to start a whole new life by himself, and he searched for his family for 23 years. Since he was so young at the time, he couldn't remember where they lived. The only thing that he could remember is that his hometown was closed off by 2 bridges. When Google Maps came out, he used it to find the 2 bridges and he found them. He then traveled to his hometown and was reunited with his family. 3 animals that saved human lives. One day at 4 in the morning, this parrot started squawking. Not because it was hungry, but because the laundry room was on fire. The loud noises from the parrot woke up its owners, then they ran outside and called the fire department. If it weren't for the parrot, their whole house could have been destroyed, and even worse yet, they could have been hurt badly. One winter night in Russia, someone heard a cat meowing outside their apartment, so they went to go and see it. When they got there, they realized it wasn't the cat making noises, it was actually a baby crying. If it weren't for the cat keeping the baby warm, it might not have survived in the cold. A 5-year-old named Amber Mason and her family traveled to Thailand for a vacation. While they were there, Amber became friends with a 4-year-old elephant. One morning when they were strolling the beach, an unexpected tsunami hit. The elephant rushed to the water to get Amber and pulled her to shore where her mother was waiting. If it weren't for the elephant, she could have drowned. Animals that are bigger than you thought. This is how big horses' lungs are.
Oh my goodness. That just seems not good.
This is how big a giant leatherback
They're huge.
sea turtle is compared to a human. Here's how big a giant African land snail
Oh, now that's just creepy. That looks like it's in a
is
movie.
compared to a hand. Here's how big a blue whale's heart is compared to a human. Here's how big eagle's claws are compared to a hand. And here's how big a saltwater crocodile is. Hidden secrets in everyday items that you didn't know about. Have you ever wondered why doorknobs are made out of brass or some sort of alloy metal? This is because those materials help prevent bacteria from spreading. If you take the lid off your cup and place it underneath, it fits perfectly as a coaster. Have you ever wondered why there's a hole in plane windows? The hole is in the middle pane of the 3 window panes. It takes off pressure from the outer pane so the window doesn't break. Gas pump hoses are attached by magnets. So if you forget to take out the hose, the pump won't go with you. The number on the side of lotion tells you how long the product will last so you don't damage your skin. The different colors on the bottom of toothpaste tubes actually mean something. Blue means it's made with natural resources and medicine. Green means it's only made with natural resources. Red means it's made with natural resources and some chemical compositions. And black means it's made with pure chemicals. The 3 weirdest restaurants in the world. Cafe Econ is a 3-story restaurant. The first floor is normal, but the second and third floor are filled with ankle-deep water and swimming fish. One floor has smaller fish than the other, so you could choose which one you'd like. Guests have to take off their shoes before entering. In the restaurant called Modern Toilet, the chairs are replaced with toilets and the food is shaped like this. An example of a meal you could order is called a turd sub sandwich. This restaurant is prison themed. Guests are brought to their table by a prison guard. Each table is in a different cell blocked off by big black bars. The prison guards carry fake guns and there's also fake guns on the walls and ceiling. This is the luckiest man alive. Frane Selleck was riding a train when it went off the tracks into a river. 17 passengers died, but he was able to swim to shore with nothing but a broken arm. The next year when he was on a plane, a door detached from the aircraft and it crashed. 19 people died, but Selleck was found in a haystack with a few bruises. In 1996, he was on a bus when it drove into a river. 4 people died, but again, he survived. In 1970, his car's fuel tank exploded on the highway. In 1973, his fuel tank leaked and his car caught on fire. Fast forward to 1995, and he was in another bus crash. The next year, when he was driving, a truck came barreling towards him. He jumped out of his vehicle and watched it explode. This is the creepiest McDonald's in the world. In 1986, this McDonald's opened for the World Expo in Canada. Because of its location and cool features, it was placed ahead of the competition. It had real plants, wooden floors, and art covering the walls. Instead of you being able to see the kitchen like in regular McDonald's, the creators hid it. And to get the food to customers, they placed it on a conveyor belt. Millions of people from around the world ate there because it was a must-see tourist attraction. At the end of the expo, it was closed and abandoned for years. Now it looks like this. Photos you're not allowed to see. You're not allowed to go into Area 51, but a pilot named Gabriel Ziefman broke those rules and flew over top. He took this photo in 2020 and it's the best one we have. Cameras have always been banned in the Supreme Court, but in 1932, Eric Sullivan snuck in a camera. He pretended to have a broken arm and hid his camera inside the cast. 5 years later, there was another photo taken. A lady cut a hole in her purse and put a small camera in it. Since 1878, the most powerful people in the world meet at this forest in California, where they do lots of ceremonies and rituals. This includes presidents, billionaires, and businessmen. famous people. But a photographer named Gabriel Moulon snuck in and took a picture of them doing a ritual. 10 facts you didn't know that could save your life. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10 it's because there's an electrical fire. If you're in a foreign country and you need to call for help but you don't know the emergency number, call 112 and it'll automatically connect you to the nearest helpline. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. A spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair suddenly stands up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If a deer runs across the road, it's better to hit it than swerve into the ditch. But if it's a moose, then it's better to swerve into the ditch. Because hitting a moose is like hitting a brick wall. Even if you have no service, you can still dial 911. In an emergency, your phone will connect to the nearest tower. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wire so the cops will pull them over, then kick on the door to let them know that you're there. The funniest ways people got revenge. When Mark's laptop was stolen from him, he hacked into it from his house and found an embarrassing video of the thief dancing in front of the camera. He then uploaded it to YouTube where it went viral and the thief saw it. So he returned the laptop begging for Mark to take the video down, but he didn't. When a girl found out her boyfriend had cheated on her, she asked him to get matching tattoos as a symbol of love, which he agreed to. But she left him without getting hers, leaving him with a tattoo to remind him of her. This guy was just doing his job painting over some graffiti, but I guess the people who painted it weren't too happy with him. They got revenge by painting him on the wall where he had just covered up. 5 photos you'll have to look at twice. At first it looks like there's a giant pigeon, but it's actually just sitting on a ledge and the person's walking in the distance. At first it looks like there's a human dog, but the dog's actually sitting beside its owner. At first this looks like some weird looking cat, but it's actually just 2 cats laying in the exact same position on each side. At first it looks like this fish has an arm, but the fish just got too close to the camera. And finally, it looks like this person has a small head, but it's just the head from the person in front of him. Theme park rides that had to be shut down. On this roller coaster called the Dragon Challenge, located at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, there were 2 tracks that at one point were very close together. Several riders got hurt over the years, so they destroyed it and closed it in 2017. The most serious injury on that ride was someone who lost their eye. On the catapult ride in Mount Olympus Water and Theme Park, you went up so fast in such a short amount of time that many people fainted. In 2015, when a child and woman were getting ready to take off, one of the cables snapped, so they closed the ride 2 days later. And finally, Son of the Beast is the world's tallest and fastest wooden roller coaster. It was closed in 2009 because 27 people had to go to the hospital for neck and chest injuries due to a broken beam. It later reopened, but head trauma was reported because of the violent motion from the roller coaster. So it was then shut down for good. 5 places you should never swim. The boiling lake in Dominica is so dangerous that the magma underneath the surface makes the water so hot that you would be swimming in boiling water. Lake Karachay is one of the most toxic lakes on Earth, due to all the toxic waste that the Russian government introduced when toxic materials weren't as big of a problem. The Nile River is filled with crocodiles everywhere that could kill you. And if you manage to escape the crocodiles, you'll have snakes as a second problem. In the river and outside of it, you could probably find at least 15 venomous species. Jacob's Well is a lake located in Texas where you could dive really deep, but you have to be careful because there's caves below where people can get trapped. And lastly, Hanakape Beach has currents so strong that they even keep count of how many deaths there's been to scare people, and the number of people killed is 80. 3 bizarre things found in pools. A lady was going down to the pool for a morning aerobics class when she seen a 5-foot crocodile in the pool. She phoned the rangers to come get it, and when they took it out, they noticed it had no markings on it, so it must have been a wild croc. In California, the police were chasing a car, but it was driving so crazy that they had to stop following it for safety reasons. The car was later found in someone's pool, but the driver was nowhere to be seen, so they think he ran away to avoid the charges. And lastly, one morning a family woke up to a hippo in their pool. The water went from crystal clear and clean to dark green and dirty. The father's a safari director, so he's used to seeing animals like that. They said the hippo stayed there for 10 days before it finally left. The Dumbest Things Bought by Billionaires Part 2. When a Hong Kong businessman inherited a 26-carat black diamond, he decided he wanted to keep it with him at all times. He got a craftsman to make him a custom iPhone 5 with the diamond mounted on the home button. The back of the phone is covered in 24-karat gold. The sides are layered with 653
He's
white
wasting
diamonds,
his money,
and the screen is sapphire glass made with real sapphires, bringing the total cost of the phone to $15 million.
I wouldn't do
Genius inventions that should exist everywhere. In Poland, this bike path was made using thousands of tiny luminophores, which is a material that produces low levels of light for 10 hours, then recharges itself from the sun. The bike path doesn't require electricity and provides safety for people biking at night. 20 different cities in France have already implemented this. It allows you to charge your phone phone by using pedal power. The goal of the company is to promote an active lifestyle while making sure your phone doesn't die. People who use the bike also get free Wi-Fi. The Cal
Wow.
Maritime Police Department in California has placed a safe zone outside which is watched by a camera 24/7. They made this zone so you don't have to worry about getting hurt or robbed while purchasing things from people in your city. 3 people who beat the system. After this person's landlord said they couldn't paint the walls in their apartment, they decided to get paint strips and cover the walls. This person's teacher won't let them eat in class, so they filled an empty lip balm with cheese so they could sneak it in. This person was only allowed to have a 1-page cheat sheet, so they wrote a whole page of notes in red pen, then another page in blue pen. Then they brought 3D glasses to class, so when they looked through the red side, they could see the red pen, and when
Oh, that's savage. So maybe you can get like 2 sheet.
they looked through the blue side, they could see the blue pen. Secrets movie theaters don't want you to know. Movie theaters earn very little from ticket sales. That's why they decided to lower the cost of tickets and raise the cost of food, so the earnings would go entirely to the movie theater. Food combos won't always save you money. Sometimes it's just a strategy to make you think it's the best option. So next time, check if it's better to buy a combo or buy the food separately. Sometimes there's people yelling at the cabin for the movie to start, but what they don't know is that the cabin is completely empty. Thanks to new technology, human assistance isn't needed. Movies will never start at the time the ticket says it will. This way they'll get more people to watch the ads before the movie. And if you ever thought you were cool sneaking into another movie than the one that you bought, the employees don't really care as long as there are seats available.
Now that's facts. Now that's a fact.
Animals that are bigger than you thought. This is how big horses' lungs are. This is how big a
Never
giant
seen
leatherback sea turtle is compared to a
that
human.
was
Here's how big a
weird.
giant African land snail is compared to a hand. Here's how big a blue whale's heart is compared
That's
to a human.
confusing.
Here's how big eagle's claws are compared to a hand. And here's how big a saltwater crocodile is. Are these plates clean? They're as clean as cold water can get them. Just eat your meal.
Okay.
Are you sure these plates are clean? I told you before, those dishes are as clean as cold water can get them. Grandpa, your dog keeps growling at me. Cold water, come here.
I've seen that. That was funny.
Lucky people who won the food lottery. This person found a mini orange inside of their big orange.
Wow.
This vending machine had an error and distributed everything for the price of one item. This person found a green pepper growing inside of a red pepper.
Wow.
This person got a carton full of double yolk eggs. Now before I tell you the craziest one about this bacon, I found this app that lets you prank your friends and family by changing their text messages. Just press this button on my profile if you want to try it too. This person ordered bacon from Five Guys, but since he was their last customer before closing, they gave him the rest of their bacon for free. Jobs you didn't know existed. Ben Lashes is an internet famous cat manager.
You know, that was pretty insane.
The worst school punishments. In 2011, a teacher from Albuquerque called the police because a student burped in class. The boy was then taken to juvenile prison for testing. Christopher Baker, who was a 9-year-old student from Kentucky, was put in a duffel bag for misbehaving in class. The school claimed that he was in the therapy bag for almost 20 minutes. Due to the mother's claims, the teachers involved were fired. At a school in New Jersey, a student accidentally spilled water on the lunchroom floor. When the assistant principal saw the incident, she forced 16 students to eat their lunch on the floor for 10 days. When the parents found out, they sued the school, winning $500,000.
Oh, wow.
Finally, a 5-year-old from Pennsylvania received a 10-day suspension for wanting to shoot her Hello Kitty bubble gun at another student. She said, "I'll shoot you, you shoot me, and we'll play together." After the teacher heard the conversation, she sent her to the principal's office. And even though she just had a bubble gun, she was suspended for a terroristic threat.
Yeah, I don't know. They just don't.
Most funny design fails. This sign says "Do not enter," but it also says "entrance only," so I guess you can't go in or out. In this children's book, it says 5 bananas, but if you count them, there's actually 6.
Yeah, no.
In this lady's bathroom, there's holes cut out in the stall so you can see if anybody's using it. In this bathroom, the paper towel dispenser's right over the sink,
I
so
know,
when you go to
that's
get
like
paper,
the
it gets
worst.
wet. Now, before I show you the craziest one, I found this app that tells you your celebrity lookalike, and apparently I look like Marilyn Monroe. Just press the button on my profile to get it. Finally, this person thought they were doing a 4-mile run trail, but after they finished the 4 miles, they realized that it kept going. School trips that went horribly wrong. On a trip for the Cub Scouts to a beach in San Diego, the parents got an embarrassing surprise when they realized the beach was a nude beach. After the awkward encounter, the parents quickly returned the boys. In Indiana, a chemistry teacher
Wait. Seriously. It was a nude beach? You brought
beach in
this
San
many
Diego, the parents got
boys. You met
embarrassing
these
surprise
two
when they
people.
realized the beach was a nude beach.
These people right now, they're crazy. Wow. You know, that's enough. That's enough facts that are super surprising. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. And thank you guys for 853 views. Thank you guys. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.